Week 12 in the CFL kicks off from Montreal, where it is a David versus Goliath matchup. The best team in the league, led by that man, Davis Alexander. Welcome Jake Mayer and the winless Redblacks to town. It is Ottawa and Montreal coming up on Thursday Night Football on TSN. Off to a historic season, Tyson Philpott leading the CFL with 1,154 receiving yards, looking for an absolute monster of a game this evening. And look, there hasn't been a lot that's gone right for the Ottawa Redblacks, but this guy has played quite well. Keelan White, a bright spot for Ottawa, hoping to help his team pull off, which would arguably be the biggest upset of the CFL season. But as we were saying earlier, it is football.
No argument about it.
Everything is on the table, and anything can happen. Back alongside Enoch Mwamba, Davis Sanchez, Milt Stiegel as we get set for Ottawa taking on Montreal. And Milt, you came up with this question. I'll let you answer it first. Yep. What is more embarrassing, starting a season 0-10, or the best team in the league losing to the worst team in the league?
I'm going to say starting the season 0-10. Now, I know it'd be embarrassed if Montreal loses to Ottawa, but if they lose, what are they, 8-2? Mm-hmm. Big deal. They're still top in the East and still maybe considered the best team in the CFL. But Ottawa 0-10, they're talking about, when I go home to Atlanta, they're talking about this in the States. Now, if you're double digits, you're 0-10, that is pretty embarrassing.
I like to find ways to argue with you, Milt, but I got nothing. I agree with you 100%. Montreal can lose this game. They know it's a slip-up. They're still the best team in the league.
Exactly.
It is what it is. You deal with this. You walk around town in Ottawa. It's a tough life right now for those guys.
I don't know, guys. I wouldn't want to be that team. I think the word around the CFL right now, they're probably like, if you about to play the Ottawa Redblacks, say, man, all the best, man. Enjoy, have fun. But also they'll say, don't be that team. Don't be that first team to lose to the Ottawa Redblacks. So I wouldn't want to be the perfect team with the Montreal Alouettes and lose to the worst team.
They're going to eventually beat someone, right? Aren't they?
Are they?
Yeah.
Aren't they?
I don't care who it is. I don't want it to be me, Milt.
You mean this year? No, I'm serious.
This season, they're going to eventually beat somebody.
I'm not taking it laughing or whatever it is. The schedule and the teams that they have to beat, I don't see spots right now where they win. Things might change. I don't see spots right now where I see them.
So there's a chance of going 0-18.
Don't be that team.
I'm not putting that on them.
Don't be that team, Montreal.
Well, Montreal, great at home. Do you know Davis Alexander hasn't lost a game at home? Do you think he's going to lose one tonight?
Can't be.
What's that spread at, Jesse?
Over 2 touchdowns.
Woo. Marshall Ferguson, Glenn Suter with the call next.
They're winning by 50-11.
Welcome to the show. Oh, yeah. Welcome to the show. Stay well prepared and they know. So welcome to the show. Let's go. Welcome to the show. Full house sold out. We on a roll. Welcome to the show.
Stephen Patitucci of North Vancouver, BC. This is your chance to win big. Thanks to Save On Foods' $1 million touchdown to win. If kickoff is returned for a touchdown, you could win groceries for a year. If 2 kickoffs are returned for touchdowns, you could win $1 million. Good luck, Stephen. Let's get you to Montreal. It's Marshall Ferguson and Glenn Suter.
Thank you so much, Kate, and welcome to Montreal for a battle of the two teams closest to the Atlantic Ocean in the Canadian Football League. But that's about all they have in common when it comes to this league and to their results so far this year. The polarity could not be more different. North and south, the wins and the losses. Marshall Ferguson, Glenn Suter, and Kenzie along with you here. But they both have 2 tremendous receivers.
Yeah, 2 great young Canadian receivers on the marquee tonight. First of all, Tyson Philpott, who's on a record-breaking pace. He's going after Alan Pitts' number of over 2,000 yards in a season. He's on pace for 2,300 plus. And then Keelan White, who is a building block for the Ottawa Redblacks. Big game here in Montreal earlier in the season. He is contributing in a big way and has a bright future.
Ryan Dinwiddie has not won a game in the Canadian Football League since last last year for the Toronto Argonauts against the Edmonton Elks as they walked it off against Edmonton. And Jason Moss, so far this year, he is controlling things, loves the program, loves what he is creating in Montreal, and rightfully so as they sit at 8-1 atop the East Division, and the Ottawa Redblacks 0-9. But this, my friends, why we play the games. The top and the bottom of the East Division. Massive polarity between the two. It's time to place the ball and find out who is on top to get things going. Week number 12 of the CFL season. Khalil Pimpleton will return across the 20 to the 25 and 30 and makes his way across to the 40-yard line before he is wrapped up. The Ottawa Redblacks suits, they won the toss. They decided they wanted the football, which means Jake Mayer gets the first touch.
Yeah, in his career, he's won 5-1 against Montreal, as you mentioned. Started every game this year and is 0-9. Hasn't had that kind of start to any football season at any level that he's played at. A lot of the times, those losses not Jake Mayer's fault. However, you know, they've got to make something happen. Push the ball, cut it loose, and see if they can create the biggest upset of the CFL season, bar none, if they could find a way tonight.
They had a chance against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers last week, but it fell short just like it has so many times this year as Mayer begins to the outside. It is completed, and there is Keelan White, who's part of this Ottawa starting offense.
Hey, take a look at that old line. And Sean McEwen, you got to lean on your veterans when you're struggling. And there's no question Ottawa has struggled this year. Lean on the veterans up front. Not terrible on the old line. And there's Keelan White, mentioned just a bright future for him. 5 straight games now. He's had 6 or more catches, starting to really find his groove in a big touchdown catch. In fact, he had 2 here in Montreal when they played earlier in the season.
They're not going to miss him tonight with those highlighter cleats on either. For 81, Keelan White. As Mayer will hand it off inside, and a jump cut on 2nd and 3 from their own 47. Looks like it comes up about a yard shy on the play.
Get a run game going, but certainly help Coach Dinwiddie's cause here to try and create the opportunity and get the upset. Greg Bell on the fewest touches of any tailback per game in the CFL this year. Now, in fairness to Coach Dinwiddie, they're often chasing on the scoreboard.
They've been in a hole so many times over as Bryson Barnes is into the ball game here. His first year at Utah State is the short yardage quarterback, but Todd Bethel-Thompson is the backup, and Barnes just dives his way forward into the middle of the pile. And it looks like he has enough for the first down. So it's a completion to Keelan White, a handoff inside to Greg Bell, and then Bryson Barnes barging his way forward for just enough.
So how do the Ottawa Redblacks pull off the upset? Now that's the question, I think, most Ottawa fans. How do they get it done against an all-star defense and an offense that's putting points on the board in a huge way? Every little detail matters. See if they can take care of the details.
Find a way to turn the tables on their season so far as Mayer looks to the single receiver to his right. It is complete. And isolating man who has replaced Eugene Lewis. And why? That's McDonald as we see the Alouettes defense.
Yeah, Mustafa Johnson back in the lineup, missed last week, and he has 4 sacks, which leads that defense in that department. Jeffrey Canton-Arcou again missed the last game. He is back in the lineup, leads with defensive tackles. And Kevion Ento is the only DB in that group that doesn't have an interception yet. Missed 3 games, been back for 3 games. I think he's due.
It's coming. Short yardage in once again for the Ottawa Redblacks. Flags fly on the snap. He's plunging his way to the right-hand side. Once again goes Barnes. And he has it, likely offside here against the Montreal Alouettes. And Jake Mayer will return to the field. As you say, he has been so steady throughout the year, throwing for 300-plus yards with 40-plus pass attempts in 4 consecutive games for the Ottawa Redblacks. But
outside,
still the donut.
Montreal number 95. 5-yard penalty. Big set of first down.
In that win column as it goes against Daniel Wise that you see there on the defensive line. And yeah, the old finger trick just across the line.
Yeah, line up offside. No early movement there. But hand was in the neutral zone.
Redblacks working on the silent count here as they flip it out to Keelan White, and he gets chopped down. Robert Kennedy made the play coming down from his field halfback position, his third year in the Canadian Football League, and making plays all over the field this season.
Yeah, this screen needs that first block. It needs one block right at the point of attack. Normally the player or DB that's in that zone in the flat, or he's got that man in Keelan White, and Kennedy steps up and makes a nice tackle because he wasn't blocked. Need that first one.
Leaves 2nd and 10 for the Ottawa Redblacks. They'll bail out from a pressure look, just a 3-man rush, and Keelan White makes the grab, and he's inside the 30-yard line. They'll move the sticks once again. Mayer on the target.
A lot of show blitz, a lot of guys in the line of scrimmage, and then dropping out of there. There's the target. Now, if you're going to drop defensive linemen, and Noel Thorpe often does that, then why not attack that zone? See if those defensive linemen have the foot speed to be able to break on the football.
Keelan White moving closer to the football as he gains experience in the Canadian Football League. Started as a wide-side wide receiver, so many Canadians do. They listed on the interior slot back to the field. Is this one high, but still reeled in? Justin Hardy, ever present in this Redblacks receiving corps.
Boy, and he knew what was coming in here. It's going to be just that dig route down the field, and he knew immediately safety or interior linebacker is going to be lining him up on that dig route. Jake Mayer put it right on him so he could protect himself.
Don't look now, Suits. It's money time. Something the Redblacks have struggled with so much throughout this year. Jake Mayer is 5 for 5 in this opening drive, 46 yards. What can he do here inside the score zone? Rips this one, and his first incompletion is a knockdown, courtesy of How Do You Do, Jeffrey Canton-Arcou.
Canton-Arcou is going to come from the top of the line here, and he is unblocked off the edge. He just delays a split second. So Zachary Belveld, he doesn't see him coming. He's locked up. Free off the edge, and he gets the knockdown. They have struggled in the red zone this year. Under 50%, I believe.
Former first-round pick of the Alouettes back in 2024 knocks it down. Now goes to work against Mayer, who looks over the middle of the field. Khalil Pimpleton makes the grab. Kennedy has a hold of him and gets him down in and around the 5. He'll be close to the yardage needed, and a flag comes out at the end of the play. As Pimpleton was a little congratulatory slap to the helmet that time of his quarterback, and Dinwiddie looks on to see what down in the distance he has.
And what the penalty is, because that was a catch just shy of the first down marker, I believe. I'm not sure if Pimpleton got that extra yard. I don't think he did. Robert Kennedy brings him down. Needed to get to that stripe, and I don't think he did, so this penalty will be huge.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness, Montreal number 1. Okay. It's an unrestricted penalty. It would be first down at the 1-yard line.
Robert Kennedy is not sure why.
Didn't feel his hand getting hooked inside the helmet, I guess, at the end of the play here, as we get a great look at it from our CFL and TSN crew.
Yeah, there's the left hand underneath the helmet. Lucky that Khalil Pimpleton didn't lose his helmet there.
Jason Moss watching on. His all-powerful offense hasn't touched the field yet. First possession of the ball game. And it's Barnes in his short yardage gets stacked up. And still pushing. Aiden Everhart begging for a touchdown.
They're saying no.
Don't think they gave it to him.
Boy, we talked about the struggles in the red zone. It extends those struggles down to the 1-yard line. There's been many a time when Ottawa's had to settle for field goals inside the 5. And there are some veterans on that offensive line that need to get their pad level down and get that push. They're going to go here on second down, obviously. See if they can finish it.
A 300-pound defensive tackle in interior yards. They go heavy to the right-hand side. And Bryson Barnes continues to push. And they'll stack them up once again, it looks like. They're saying no.
You know, I think Ottawa tried in this fairness, in this case, to hurry the snap count and try to catch maybe the Montreal defensive line moving around and not set. He's going to go to the right. Beverette's going to come right up over and make contact immediately. Look at him get airborne. He's the guy who starts this fight. And then he brings it back. Michael Alouettes in there. How about Beverette? Over the top. Boschman gets in there from the safety spot. Here we go.
They've done it two different ways. It hasn't worked in short yardage. So Jake Mayer checks back in the shotgun. Takes the snap. Looks to throw. Incomplete. And a flag comes out at the end of the play.
Pass interference, Montreal number 37. First down at the 1-yard line.
Wesley Sutton, the offending party according to the officials. Noah Thorpe and Jason Moss want another look.
Believe this is Pimbleton right here. Sutton in coverage. He tries to. Oh, I would call that one pretty soft, but a little bit of a hold around the waist.
No flag out to challenge from the Montreal sideline. Bryson Barnes back into short yardage to the right-hand side. Bounces off initial contact, and finally, we're used to seeing 17s as short yardage quarterbacks doing whatever the heck they want in the CFL. It took 3 times to try, but finally, Ottawa drives the length of the field to open up this game to start week number 12, and they get a lead on the road in Montreal.
Well, it was penalty aided, and we can go back and take another look if you want to see whether or not you think that was pass interference on Wesley Sutton. But in 4 downs from the 1-yard line, Ottawa gets in. Is this the break they need?
Bryson Barnes has already got blood on the jersey. We just started. What's going on? A 1-yard run for the Major, but it was 14 plays, 70 yards. It took half of the first quarter off the board. Suits, if you want to win on the road against a team that's only got 1 loss this year, why not squeeze the game? How about eliminating half a quarter? Ottawa leads early on.
Take another look at that pass interference. There's Sutton. He's going to be in coverage with Pimbleton, and it's basically a bang route where he's going to run the out and then bang back inside. Stop it right there. There's 2 of them, and I called it a bit of a soft one, but if you look at this, does it impede him to get to the football? Sold it well. Coach Moss hates it. Coach Dinwiddie loves it. Score on the first drive.
Big moment for the Ottawa Redblacks, albeit early. As now we get the return from the former Redblack. Devontae Dedmon cuts back, makes 2 men miss, then a third, and finally thrown down by King Ambers. Tremendous field position here for deep ball Davis, showing off his exploits in a game against the Edmonton Elks just a couple of weeks ago, but a 50-yard return from the former Redblack. Devontae Dedmon sets up the Alouettes quarterback for success. Well, Davis Alexander, he has been so good for the Montreal Alouettes. You heard Kate Burness before the game saying he has not lost here at home in Week 10 against a great football team, as it was proven against the Toronto Argonauts last week. Not good, great in Edmonton. We saw Davis go to work once again and put on the magic that we've seen so often this year.
Yeah, which one of his super stats do you want to go through?
How many do you have?
Well, there's a whole chart full of them when you talk about his pace to catch Doug Flutie, the all-time record for passing yards in a season. There's many of them.
Travis Tice hasn't been shabby either as the downhill runner and yards after contact specialist begins, as we see Davis Alexander so far on this season, currently trailing by 7 early on, somewhere he hasn't been very often.
Well, he's on pace for over 6,000 yards passing, and the record is held by Doug Flutie back in 1991. That was 6,619 yards. Could possibly catch him the real big game. #1 target, of course, has been Tyson Philpott.
Gain of 7 on first down from Tice, and now Alexander will pull it and throw and skips this one like a rock through the pond at the cottage, incomplete into the feed of Tyler Snead, usually on point, especially with 85, but not that time.
Yeah, that's surprising. Just like the mechanics a little off, and that was a one-hopper with a wide-open receiver.
Snead, part of the dynamic duo for this Montreal receiving group this season. Last two games, he and Tyson Philpott combined for 635 of the team's 772 passing yards. That's massive numbers from those two, as Joseph Zemo will sail this one out of bounds, and it goes sideways and out with a flag thrown on that as well. A legal kick out of bounds, and Jake Mayer, he's got the lead and a little momentum here with 5.5 minutes remaining in the first quarter, trying to find the elusive first victory of the season for the club from the nation's capital.
The CFL on TSN is brought to you in part by The Score Bet, an official gaming partner of the CFL.
Well, a bubblegum sunset here in Montreal, but I got a feeling that the Alouettes coaching staff probably chewing their gum to pieces at this point, halfway through the first quarter, with just a couple of snaps for their group, as the Ottawa offense with a 7-0 lead is back on the field. Jake Mayer will hand it off. Greg Bell puts his shoulder down, wrapped up by Jeffrey Kenton Arku.
Marsh, I thought you made a good point when you talked about that first drive for Jake Mayer, and that half the quarter was gone. They finished with the major. Yes, penalty aided on that pass interference call. Took 4 cracks at it to cross the goal line on the 1-yard line. However, it keeps Davis Alexander on the bench. He gets another drive together here and can convert on second down. This play, keep them over there longer.
Burn some clock and keep this thing close as long as they can so they get their shot. Big Mayer looks to his right and into a tight window. He back shoulders down the seam to Justin Hardy. How about that throw?
That's exactly what he does. He throws him open here because he needed to get that on the back shoulder with where the coverage was. Inside leverage here. You can see from Kenton Arku. But again, if you're going to drop your D linemen and linebackers, go ahead and work those zones. It's a great strategy for Ryan Dinwiddie and Jake Mayer.
Second and long conversions on the road against a fierce Alouettes defense. The story of this one early on. Now a little jump cut on a toss play as Greg Bell gets a first down on first down. Flag comes out. 2 of them actually. One at the end of the play and one at the start.
The one at the start is in that holding area. The one at the end is in a late hit or face mask area.
Absolutely, yeah. As we see an injured Redblack down on the turf.
Greg Bell getting outside the edge there, and then a nice little cutback. There's the around the helmet grab. That's probably one of them from David Perales.
It looks like Anthony Gosselin, the 9-year veteran out of Sherbrooke, the Verreor, is the injured Redblack down on the turf. Got rolled up onto from behind. This is our referee, Tim Croker. Works through the pair of penalties.
Well, they're moving. It looked like maybe both are against Montreal.
Ryan Dinwiddie's already back into the call sheet as well.
Haven't got the announcement. Maybe the mic is out.
Illegal low block. Montreal number 9. A penalty is declined. Major foul face mask. Montreal number 99. That penalty is accepted. Up 15 yards. First down.
So Perales, you were right, who's had the face mask penalty, but Jeffrey Kenton Arku was the other that was declined. And so Gosselin makes his way to the sideline. See a high tackle up here on Greg Bell.
Yeah, and that counts on the side of the helmet too.
12 25-yard run, 15-yard penalty, a gain of 27 yards net. Keep in mind the punt from Joseph Zima went out of bounds with the penalty yardage. That was also aided moving forward. It was just 24 yards with a 10-yard penalty, so 14 yards net. And Ottawa getting all the bounces and flags here early on. And did they draw another with a hard count from Jake Mayer?
Replay center will help in real time here. Looked like Noel Thorpe was going to send some pressure, and guys got a little antsy.
Montreal. 5-yard penalty, first down.
This is a shocking start early on. The Ottawa Redblacks are in control right now, deciding what they want to do with this football game.
Well, I would say pretty much all four of the D linemen jumped in the neutral zone there.
The plot thickens. They'll empty it out. Just a three-man rush as Mayer looks to throw. Everhart, they'll back shoulder him, and Beauchemin came over. Is it simultaneous possession? No! Interception, Alouettes.
That's the job of the free safety. Drop the quarterback, drop down the middle, read the quarterback's throwing action, and flow to the football. That's number 2 on the season for Beauchemin.
Previous play is under review on the replay center.
Welcome back to Montreal. A big week, not just for, of course, Canadian football in the professional ranks, but also at the World Championships at the IFAF, and being able to have the women go ahead and crown themselves with a 27-20 victory over the United States of America. We were all watching it, and we head down to hear more from our sideline reporter, Kenzie Long.
Yeah, Marshall, so thrilled to be joined by members of our Canadian flag team who return home with some hardware. To my left, quarterback of the women's flag team, Sarah Parker. To my right, Marc-Antoine Dequoy, former Montreal Alouette. Sarah, I'd like to start with you because not only did this women's team go over there, qualify for LA 2028, you ladies made a statement being crowned world champions. So as a player who's been, playing the game since a young girl, to have gone over there, qualified, earned goal and MVP honors, what does it all mean to you?
It means everything. Really, it was the best weekend ever. We had so much fun. We did it together. We got to celebrate our qualification, and then we just topped it off with a gold medal, and I couldn't be happier.
Well, from gold to bronze, Marc-Antoine Dequoy, it was a bronze medal game. You guys had to win if you wanted to earn that berth to LA 2028, a thrilling overtime win against Mexico. I want to ask you about how your experience... Well, Dequoy, I'd like you to chime there on that catch as speaker.
Come on, huh? How good of a catch that is.
Woo! And it's catches like that we've seen in the 2023 Gay Cup. Your experience, how did that help you in your game?
That catch, same person, co-speaker, meant the catch on the third down with Cody Fajardo that gave the way to the touchdown from Tyson Pilva that we see all around. And honestly, I felt the same thing going out of that game because we won on the last play, interception by Guillaume Delan. And that's like the correlation I see, from the Grey Cup to the bronze medal. It's just, you got to fight till the end because you never know how a match will go. And we did fight to the end, and we got out with the bronze as Davis got that first down, and now we're going to the Olympic.
Well, congratulations, both of you. Enjoy the rest of the game. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Wait a minute, Dequoy's going to take my play-by-play job.
Yeah, Dequoy doesn't get back on the field at free safety. But congratulations. I mean, Rochelle Lassard, the head coach of the women's team, they upset the USA and win the gold medal. The bronze goes to Canada, and Coach LaPolice, big game for Michael O'Connor. I think he threw 5 touchdowns in the bronze medal game.
Alouettes driving here as Travis Tice fights his way up through the middle. But yeah, Canadian flag football across the board, tremendous to both the men and the women. And wild to watch. Marc-Antoine Dequoy is just a standout Canadian Football League player just last year with Montreal Alouettes, and making plays all over the place in Dusseldorf, Germany, as he gets to celebrate on the sideline with some of his old teammates, who you can tell how much they love what 24 means to them.
Yeah, Dequoy had an interception in the bronze medal game. ideal player on defense for flag football, but both the men and the women have qualified for the Olympics in 28. Congratulations to both of them.
Congratulations to, again, Rachel Lessard and our boy Paul Lapolice. Looking forward to seeing Team Canada move forward into the Olympics as the Alouettes go back to working. Once again, it is Cole Speaker in the grab after that beautiful over-the-shoulder grab he had for 38 yards as we were chatting with our flag football heroes.
Yeah, Speaker on the outside here. You know, when you give the Montreal Alouettes, this 8-1 team, a little crack of the opening of the door like Ottawa did with the interception going the other way. They could have gone up by 10, even with a field goal there. Didn't because of that throw and interception by Beauchemin. Now they're knocking on the door.
Alexander pulls, pumps to his right, pressure coming, and gets it away. It is complete. Tyson Philpott. This is on first contact, but they wrapped up and thrown down. As Eric Cumberbatch makes the tackle on the play.
Kind of like over on the Montreal sideline after that first 2 and out. The alarm clock went off when Beauchemin made the interception.
Yeah.
And they went, oh, okay, let's get back to our game. Big throw to Speaker. Now they're inside the 20. Inside the 10, as a matter of fact.
That Ottawa defense in those icy white uniforms on their heels right now, backpedaling as backup quarterback Terry Wilson is in. Third stringer to be exact as he plunges his way to the right-hand side, and looks like he's got enough for the first down.
Offside, Ottawa defensive line. Half the distance to goal. First down.
Half the distance puts the ball on the 4-yard line and bring in the big guys.
I'm going there.
Fullback Jacob Mason play that tight end spot, get a little lead block for Travis Tice. You going there?
Alexander takes the snap, pulls, throws, touchdown! Tyson Philpott and a trio of them. Just a few short weeks ago here at home, and adds another as the Alouettes tighten things down to end the first quarter.
Big play on defense, gets it done. It's the fake to Travis Tice on the run. That pulls Cormier down inside to try and make sure he keeps contained on the run, and he can't get into a drop to get under Philpott in that throw.
Philpott got up quickly and introduced himself to Marcus Barnes. We thought maybe a little contact after he had already reached the end zone. The officials talking things over after a 7-play, 80-yard drive. And just 3 minutes and 39 seconds after the Nate Beauchemin interception. The youngest Alouette, 23 years young, is Beauchemin out of the University of Calgary in his second year, a second-round draft pick. Gets the football back for Davis Alexander and drives the Owls the length of the field.
This is going against Montreal.
After the play, 15-yard misconduct foul against Montreal number 66. That 15-yard penalty will be applied on the kickoff. We move to the convert.
Olivier Lestage has the flag go against him. Starting left guard in his 5th year at the University de Montréal-Carabin.
Had a great conversation with him this week.
Great guy, interesting character, and a hard-nosed, classic Canadian offensive lineman. But takes the penalty there, and it will be accepted on the kickoff. We are knotted up at 7, going to the second quarter. It is the East-leading Montreal Alouettes fighting their way back in against the winless Ottawa Redblacks. All it took was an interception from the free safety, not Marc-Antoine Dequoise. He's with Team Canada. It was his replacement, Nate Beauchemin, who ignited the Alouettes to a tie ball game. The numbers after 1 quarter of play here in Montreal as the Montreal Alouettes and the Ottawa Redblacks are knotted up at 7 as it stands right now. And it took a turnover, of course, in the Montreal defense deep inside of their own end. But the Ottawa Redblacks taking a shot on 1st and 5 in an interesting field position.
Well, everyone kind of shares the responsibility, and that includes play callers like Coach Dinwiddie, and it includes decision makers like the quarterback. But yeah, it was 1st and 5 on the plus 26 when Jake Maier tried to go to Eberhardt and got an interception by Nate Beauchemin. That kind of set the alarm clock off for Montreal. They put a drive together and tie the score that quickly. 1st and 5, you know, it's a dilemma for Coach Dinwiddie in some ways because you don't want to get too conservative and just start to sort of play not to lose the game. You want to be aggressive and go after it, but 1st and 5, maybe run the ball there. It's easy to play it after the fact.
The Redblacks will return after the touchdown and extra point. Leo Pimpleton pulled backwards for just a moment and then takes a big wallop. As it looks like Jonathan Sutherland makes the special teams tackle. See the Ottawa losing streak, of course, mired in the middle of this mud, and Jake Maier right in the middle of it this season. But where it stands all time is last week it was, of course, passing the modern era of the Shreveport Pirates and their 14 losses.
Yeah, and to try and snap the losing streak against this team, the last time Ottawa beat Montreal was 2022. Nick Arbuckle was the starting quarterback in Ottawa. Trevor Harris in Montreal.
With the ground game here early on, Tyrell Richards alongside Najee Murray gets the stop on Greg Bell. Goes for a gain of 6 on 1st down.
You said off the top, I mean, that's why we play the game. Now, you know, in order to get that first win, Ottawa's got to figure out how to get past the adversity, let it go, and don't let that adversity stack into another bad decision, another bad play, another bad choice.
Sports wouldn't be very fun if we just looked at the records and said, you know what, they win.
Yeah,
they had a better record coming in.
No question. Got to play them.
Maier looks out to his right-hand side, and Justin Hardy gets a foot down.
That's a sweet route by Justin Hardy. And the throw leads him to that sideline. It's get Sutton. See how that little waggle got the outside leverage? He knew he was getting to the out, so that little waggle about 5 yards down the field kept Sutton on the inside shoulder, and then Jake Maier put it right out to that outside shoulder of Hardy.
Not shocking to see Jake Maier in rhythm here in Montreal. Back in week 4, he was 27 of 38 for 336 yards and 3 touchdowns. Still came away with the loss as Daniel Adeboboye gets the carry this time. In between the tackles, trying to pound it, but Maier and the Redblacks offense was not the problem in their loss on the road here in Montreal earlier this season. Just so happens that Davis Alexander outplayed Maier at the end.
Well, here's another example, though. You're 2nd and medium, 2nd and 6. So it's an interesting situation. Do you go conservative here, maybe screen, bubble screen, something like that? You know you're in field goal range. It's a long one, but you're in field goal range to add to the score for your Ottawa. Or do you push it? What do you do, quarterback? What do you like?
Always push it. As Maier rips this one incomplete. Off the mark. Great coverage supplied by Najee Murray against Aiden Eberhardt.
Now, I'm not, you know, you're not questioning throwing the football, or at least trying to on 2nd and 6. But you're in field goal range, so in the case of Jake Maier and trying to make good decisions, you throw it outside like that to Eberhardt, and if you can't get there, incomplete, you put your field goal team out there to see if you can add 3 to the score.
Brett Lowther comes out to attempt from 49 yards away. 2 of 2 on the year from 50 plus. This right on the edge of that is the hold is all over the place, and they'll think about ripping it out, and they do. It's Kavion Ento. He's got the football, ripped it away from the holder, and Ento with a cavalcade in
If you're going to see it, it was going to be with Ottawa.
Big moment.
Oh, boy.
And a drop as the Redblacks had momentum. Noah Getman couldn't hang on, and Kavion Ento plays the hero. Here the Montreal Alouettes trying to find any way to create momentum in a slow start relative to how their year has gone. How is this for business? Is just a routine field goal from 49, but slips right through the hands of Noah Getman. Brett Lowther had no chance to kick it, and then all heck broke loose.
And Noah Getman's got to understand that if you drop it out of the gate there, it's over. You got to get up, and it's the fire drill. He waited, tried to reset it, and there was no chance there. Now it took way too long, and Ento had going the other way.
2 turnovers already for the Redblacks. Now can Montreal capitalize? Alexander looks to throw. Nice catch by Cole Speaker, wrapped up at the 10-yard line. But in a season where you haven't won any games, these are the things that tend to happen.
Yeah, it's the details. And, you know, from center to holder to kick is about 2 seconds. That whole process, if you drop the ball, it's game over, it's fire. You got to get out there, and there is a fire drill set into it. But that took too long, and Ento's got him on the doorstep.
Nice tackle from Marcus Barnes in his first year at a William & Mary. That time to stop Cole Speaker. Creates 2nd and 8. Pressure coming from the Redblacks. Alexander throws to the front corner of the end zone. And they'll say it's a catch, but just shy of the goal line.
Kasim Ferdinand had to come all the way back. Davis Alexander lays it out there, but he has to come back hard to get there. Davis was trying to make sure that the coverage couldn't get involved on that. That's King Ambers and Chase. And it pulled him back from the goal line to the 1.
Ferdinand undrafted in 2025 out of Carleton. Making plays here in his 2nd season as the short yardage package is in with Terry Wilson at quarterback. 3rd year out of New Mexico. Wilson to the right-hand side as flags fly. Touchdown, Alouettes. They take the lead for the first time in the ballgame.
Guarantee you right now, for the Ottawa Redblacks, in their minds,
Ottawa offensive line. The penalties decline. Wilson's play is a touchdown.
In their minds now, they're saying, they're fighting that little voice that's saying, here we go again. A dropped field goal attempt. Like, what else can happen to this team? Montreal is going to take full advantage of that mistake in a heartbeat.
We talked to Keelan White this week, the talented young Canadian receiver from the Redblacks, and he said, we've been so close so many times. The locker room genuinely believes that our record does not represent who we are as an organization, as a group of men, as a coaching staff, as a roster. But as Mel Stiegel likes to say, your record tells you everything you need to know about yourself at this point, and unfortunately that will go on the Football Follies DVD at the end of the season as Terry Wilson punches this one in. Alouettes lead 14-7. It has been a long time coming for the Ottawa Redblacks since their last victory against the Montreal Alouettes. Over 1,400 days to be exact, as Montreal has owned Ottawa for an extensive period of time. And here we are once again in a back-and-forth battle, but the Alouettes taking advantage of the Redblacks' mistakes.
Nick Arbuckle has been a Grey Cup MVP with the Argos since then, and he was the starting quarterback in that game.
Incredible. As Khalil Pimpleton with a flag down on the field, returns this one to the 50. And yeah, Bob Dice is now the special teams coordinator in Hamilton, right? Head coach of the Ottawa Redblacks. Last time they got that victory.
But some building blocks here. You just saw one on the return, Khalil Pimpleton. No question, a player
During
they
the
can
return,
build off.
holding Ottawa
Dinwiddie with Aiden Eberhard. Great free agent signing in the offseason to get Eberhard over. Got a couple of Canadians they're testing out in the secondary in this game tonight, in Ambers and Cumberbatch. So, you know, I mean, there are some good linebacking core. Niles Morgan was a late scratch, but a good linebacking core.
Certainly got leadership in that linebacking group with Niles Morgan and C.J. Rivas, as well as Cormier being a standout player who's started to elevate his game, getting the opportunity over A.J. Allen, who came over in free agency from Saskatchewan. The offense on the field here for Ottawa. They'll hand it off to Greg Bell, another free agency addition that they had high hopes for at the start of the season, and drives his legs through the tackle attempt here from Lorenzo Burns alongside Wesley Sutton. It's a gain of 10.
So now, when they're fighting self-doubt, which you know they are, because they're pro football players, yes, but they're also human beings, and it's been a tough season, obviously. So now they're fighting self-doubt, but you can't look up at the scoreboard now if you're Ottawa at all. All you can do is think about this particular play right now on 1st and 10. That's it. Do I got my man? Do I know my responsibility? Lean on the veterans.
Off once again. Ground game trying to get going on first down. You saw the eyes. So interesting of Sean McEwen there. Looking left and looking right and locked in, focused, communicating to his guards and his tackles.
Lock in, because all that you can control. Now, little stoicism for you. The dichotomy of control. What can you control is all you think about, and what they can control is their assignment on this 2nd and long.
I did not have you going Socrates by second quarter on me. Big intercepted. Kevion Ento. Touchdown Alouettes.
To start this game in the starting group that didn't have a pick at this point in their 8-1 start to the season. Boschman had one early on in the first quarter, and now Ento knew he was due for one. Back 3 games since he was off the injured list. Took that bobbled snap on the field goal attempt back to the plus territory, and now he takes a pick 6 to the house.
Well, 10 years ago today, the Tragically Hip played their final show together in Kingston, about 2 hours down the road from here at Percival Molson Stadium. And for the Ottawa Redblacks, there is no dress rehearsal. This is their life right now.
So hold on. You're quoting the Hip, and I'm quoting Marcus Aurelius.
Sorry,
what is going on?
I have my stoicism all off, but my hip lyrics are locked in, being a Kingston guy through and through. But here we get a look at the pick 6.
Yeah, Kevion Ento to that wide side corner. Watch him come out of this. He does not backpedal a step here. He pattern reads this. He sees Pimpleton going on that inside slant, and he's taking this one to the house. I mean, he had read that play before I think Jake Mayer even knew what was going on out there. He did not move. He held his ground, did not backpedal, and jumped it.
Mayer with his 2nd interception of the ball game. 21 points off turnovers. The Alouettes had no momentum in the first quarter of this ball game.
Well, they went 2 and out their first offensive series after Jake Mayer had drove the ball, took 7 minutes and finished with a major.
Pimpleton looked confused as to whether or not received that one and let it roll into the end zone, and will take the knee. 8:48 remaining here in the second quarter, and the Redblacks will be kicking themselves, and they watch this one back.
So this was a 1st and 5 on the 26, Montreal's 26. The next time they got in field goal range, didn't want to go went conservative and tried to kick the field goal, dropped it. And now next time out, pick 6. I mean, it's just a struggle.
Ryan Dinwiddie back to the call sheet, trying to dig his way out of this one. As Mayer does a great job sifting through the traffic and then dumping it off
hard games for Jake Maier, and that it wasn't necessarily just his fault that they were 0-9, but at some point, whether you think it's his or not, are you thinking McLeod Bethel Thompson at some point in this, like, I mean, what do you got to lose now? Great experience from MBT. Been there, done that. Do you make the switch at halftime or earlier?
Cloud watches on as another completion here from Maier. And Keelan White continues to churn away. Highly complimented receiver from everyone in the organization, dating back all the way to training camp. When we weren't even asking about Keelan White, they just kept complimenting him and saying how good of a worker he is. It shows here in week 12.
Like I said, they've got some building blocks. They've got some great young players, some great young Canadians. Done well in the draft there. Offensive line that hasn't been terrible, but down in the red zone hasn't got it done.
Carter, another high draft pick receiver in motion as they'll hand it off. And a nice burst that time from Greg Bell. It's a gain of 8 for number 5.
But again, one mistake in decision making. One on the throw from Jake Maier on that first interception, and the other on the decision to call that type of play on 1st and 5 in plus territory when you're in chip shot field goal range. I mean, I would add both of those. And the door was open for Montreal, and look at the score now.
Give the Alouettes a millimeter. They'll take a full meter as now Barnes tries to carve his way around the corner. Cuts back and nearly took one inside the 40-yard line, but an excellent job from the Ottawa short yardage package. 10 yards on 2nd and short.
Yeah, Noel Thorpe here. Now this is short yardage. Good job to get outside. Najee Murray gets blocked nicely there by Eberhardt. Very good block on the edge. Keep that edge hard so you can get Barnes outside. But Noel Thorpe now can just mess with things. I mean, he can just have his way now. He's just going to send some pressure, probably from the secondary, little show blitz here and there.
There, hands it off once again. It's Adeboboye. Turning the strong lower body out of Bryant. It goes for a gain of 6.
Yeah, Montreal gets Mustafa Johnson back, as we mentioned, and Ken Narku. Basically have their starting group back and ready to go on defense. So Noel Thorpe wants to make sure that they get back settled in. The communication is back at that high level so they can be that dominant defense they've been in the past.
Late August in Montreal with an 8-1 club. Trying to get a stop against the winless Redblacks. Maier lets it fly. Hanging in the air is Justin Hardy and incomplete. Tremendous coverage by Wesley Sutton.
Well, blitz is coming here. First of all, it looked like it came from the secondary, and here's Hardy. He sees that it's a blitz, and now he's just got the go route. And can he win the jump ball? Sutton got called on an early pass interference, set up that first touchdown, makes amends here. Gets the right hand in between the hands of Hardy. Davis I was going to say Sanchez was the king at that when he was playing. Hands up through the receiver's hands.
And now we get another look, Suits, at the field goal operation from the Ottawa Redblacks. Crowd into it. The always educated Alouettes faithful trying to put some pressure on the holder. They'll go after anybody. Noah Getman puts it down, and it's missed. And clean at the back of the end zone as well as Brett Lowther can't cash in for the Ottawa Redblacks. And we sit at a 22-7 score. No good. Wide to the left from 43 yards away. And Davis Alexander gets the football back. Welcome back to Montreal. This is their king. It is Davis Alexander, who's the 2025 Eastern semifinal, 12-0 here at home, and continues to roll along. He always seems to find a way, and of course he's been king over the Ottawa Redblacks as well throughout his early career.
Yeah, 12-0 there. Against Ottawa, he's 8-1. Excuse me, they were 8-1 this year. Against Ottawa, he hasn't lost.
Haven't seen much of Davis so far in this ball game. Now he'll rip one down the seam. And King Amber's got a pinky on it. Otherwise, Davis was about to add another highlight to the already long reel in 2026.
I was going to say, it looked like he was going to complete that down the rail, didn't it? And, you know, with Davis Alexander and his great record, of course, 19-1 regular season, that one team to finally beat him was the Edmonton Elks in a rainstorm.
It was a downpour early in the season. This perfect conditions. Just check it down to Travis Tice on second and long. And Tice will go and get it with his legs. Needed the 50. And I believe he's got it by just about half a yard.
But you know what jumped off the page for me, and there's a lot of super stats for Davis Alexander. I mean, we could pick him, we talk about his pace and all of those things, but best completion percentage, 71.6 coming into this game, as any Montreal starting quarterback. That brings the conversation to Anthony Calvillo.
Better than Rakeem Cato?
A little bit better than Rakeem, but better than AC?
That's wild.
Like,
and leaning on this ground game once in a while when they need to as well. But to your point, Suits, like this is a proud history. When the Owls have been good, they have had elite quarterback play. And Davis, in so many metrics, is the most elite of them. And he's got that guy calling the shots upstairs.
Yeah, to the left of your screen. And Anthony Calvillo, we had a great conversation with him and asked him, you know, how is he helping Davis to reach these heights and be on pace for that kind of yard? He said it's all about consistency. That the first moment he came through the doors here in Montreal, he was sitting beside AC the entire time trying to learn from not only him, but the other quarterbacks that were here at that time.
Tice once again pounds it across the 50, inside the 45, and as always, rolls his way forward for extra yardage. I think it was interesting as well with Anthony Calvillo in our conversation this week, talking about, do you have any pride to having your fingertips on history? And AC said, I just want to win. If we happen to have success and set big stats along the way, with this guy who's got his own bobble, where's AC's bobblehead?
Oh, I'm sure he had one.
They gave it to Davis already, the fastest to ever have a bobblehead, Davis Alexander.
Well, Milt's strategy of Ottawa milking the clock in the first quarter. It was going oh so well, but then so many mistakes by the Redblacks. Montreal, they're looking great at home once again. We'll break it all down coming up at half.
Sucker could never be a coach.
Never.
Never.
Kate and the guys got it covered for you coming up at halftime as we kick things off in week number 12.
Milt's first coaching point, he walks in the room and says, hey, do it like I did it. Okay, guys?
Guys, just sit on the football. Don't do anything.
Do it like I did it.
Never know the strategy that could work for the Alouettes. It's been Alexander throwing for much of this year, and he does again. Travis Tice sees open turf, and he'll take it across the 30. Cutting back against the grain. Having the guts to throw the brakes on and churn for 14.
Travis Tice putting up some numbers for this Alouettes offense as well. I mean, not just rushing the ball, but also through the air. Great cutback here against the flow.
Look at that pocket, too, Suits. I mean, that thing is so much space. Davis Alexander just sorting his way through reads. Some injured Alouette is down in behind the play. It is Pierre-Olivier Lestage getting looked at by the training staff.
10th overall pick back in 21, and he and his partner at left tackle, Nick Callender, are among the lowest in the league when it comes to pressure rating, pressure against on their quarterback, and he has been outstanding. I mean, he and Callender have been in the top 5 all season long. I mean, that's one of the reasons that this offense is putting up such big numbers.
Jason Moss didn't show much emotion there, but you could tell, even without a look on his face, how happy he was to see Lestage pop up onto his feet. they'll hand it off inside. Tice goes to the left, cuts back to the right, runs through contact once again. Eric Cumberbatch playing the speed bump, not the stop sign. That time gets just enough to slow him down.
Travis Tice, of the tailbacks in the league, has the best average at almost 7 yards. I mean, 6.4 yards. And one of the top running backs in the league, PFF, when it comes to breaking tackles. I think he's third on this league. And Lestage saying, yeah, keep running the ball. They love when you're running the ball, those guys up front.
But isn't it interesting to show how much confidence they have? Lestage goes to the sideline, and they run towards left guard. As the ball is out, it's loose, and the Redblacks are on top. Cutting back, it's Alonzo Adai, the Canadian free safety. He's running down the left sideline, and maybe this is the burst of energy that the Redblacks need to get back into this one after a 22-0 run on the score sheet after Ottawa's opening drive resulted in a touchdown.
Terry Wilson didn't know that the ball was out there, or he didn't look like it. Looked like the ball sat on the turf there for what felt like a minute. I mean, let's take another look. Here it goes, right under center. So it should be the direct snap, and it bounces off his hands. Oh, I see, he got knocked down. Couldn't get back there, but it seemed like it sat back behind the line of scrimmage for a while until Adai scooped it.
Okoko, the injured Redblack down, making his way to the sideline. Slowly, but Terry Wilson, the singular responsibility that he has in short yardage currently, head down, pacing the Alouette sideline in frustration.
Well, starting quarterback is not taking many snaps from under center, but the short yardage quarterback is.
Adai in his fourth year to West Virginia returns it and gives Jake Mayer great field position. Mayer loads it up, looking for Pimpleton, and almost intercepted. Eerily reminiscent of the Nate Boschman interception, taking a shot on first down from similar field position.
Yeah, it's a double move, but it looked to me like Jake Mayer predetermined that he was going here. I mean, because it wasn't the coverage that he thought it was. Kennedy was over the top in the half field, and he just was trying to over-the-shoulder baseball catch this for an interception. Almost the third of the half. Should have been, probably.
Well, he beat Ento with the slant and go to the outside. The problem was Kennedy was all over it. Now Mayer looks to throw, knocked down. And Ottawa with a rapid 2-and-out after the fumbled recovery.
So I know that the panel's got their halftime hit all set up and ready, but I'm wondering what Coach Stiegel, if he's pulling Jake Mayer at halftime. You think Coach Stiegel, and what about Coach Mark?
I don't think there's the problem. I mean, you got Adiemi Berglund flying off the edge, Wesley Sutton, and the Alouettes defense is flying.
I hear you, but we've been saying that for 0-9 games.
We'll find out what the panel has to say coming up. This one good from 36 out, as Lowther finally not just gets the chance to kick it, but does kick it and does make it.
So Getman drops the snap. The next one, Brett Lowther, you got to believe, was unsure whether or not it would be on the tee, and that messes with a kicker a little bit. And on the third attempt, they get it back and coordinated again.
Jake Mayer started 7 of 8 in the ball game. Since then, 3 of 9, 2 interceptions. As Davis Alexander goes back to the controls of an Alouettes offense that is never shy to take a shot. Yeah, hands it off. Shamari Lawrence gets the carry.
Yeah, you could see the disappointment in Davis Alexander's demeanor and body language after his teammate Terry Wilson dropped the ball in that short yardage, because he he knew that he was in a positive territory and a chance to bury Ottawa. But who goes over first thing on the sideline? The leader of that team, Davis Alexander, said, hey, don't worry about that one. We'll get that one back. Immediately. That's what good leaders do.
Gotta love it. Davis Alexander growing into his role game over game. And again, undefeated here at home, trying to continue that as he looks to throw and right down the pipe. Pulls Speaker on a skinny post. And Speaker hangs on.
KJ Cloyd is playing for Niles Morgan, is going to be underneath in this coverage. He's going on this post, as you mentioned, and the linebacker's going to get in coverage, but he has a guy over the top, so he's in the trail position. But it didn't matter to Davis Alexander. You see the trail underneath with player over the top. Didn't matter.
Special throw from a special player. 42 yards. Now Alexander goes hunting. Pressure on, and he'll get thrown down. Ball popped out after he hit the turf. The sack credited to Jelani Stafford.
I would suggest there's a little frustration in that sack from Stafford, and was borderline unnecessary roughness. Got to give him full marks for the effort, beating a double team up there, but that sometimes those defensive linemen will get called for that pile drive.
Well, we mentioned Lestage and Callender being elite. He beat both of them on the play as the coverage was so good. Alexander had to hang on. Heart rate rises for the Alouettes leader against a four-man rush. Now he goes underneath, and another big hit. Cumberbatch drops Kasim Ferdinand. That's a GG on a Carlton Raven right there.
Well, that's what I mean about Eric Cumberbatch and King Ambers. A couple of draft picks for the Ottawa Redblacks that if they pan out, and they're getting a chance to see them, if they pan out, you can play two Canadians in the secondary, play a Canadian at your Sam linebacker in Cormier or A.J. Allen. I mean, those are building blocks.
Panda Bowl frustration unleashed right there. The crosstown rivals. We see Jose Maltos Diaz ready to go to work from 33 yards away. Burn the play clock. And Maltos Diaz. Money. Halftime coming up with Pete Burness, Enoch Mwamba, David Sanchez, the specialist of the mid-hand slice.
And Coach Stiegel. And you know what? Coach Stiegel doesn't have to answer the question. He doesn't. They can do their thing. Because I know what his answer would be. I think he's making the change. I just...
Now the question is why? If you're making the change, is it just momentum? Is it spark?
It's spark. It's spark. Because it's kind of like in hockey, even if it's not the goalie's fault, changing the goalie may provide a spark. And does Ryan Dinwiddie do that with a veteran like McLeod Bethel-Thompson?
Had success with them in the past is chucking it into the turf is Jake Mayer. Like they were trying to set up a little screen action, but wise to it. For the Alouettes, 2nd and 10.
You could change an O-lineman, you could change a receiver, change a tailback. It's not going to make a whole lot of difference in the chemistry or the spark of the team. You change the quarterback, and he hits one deep early. That maybe gives you some confidence, and old self-doubt disappears. I don't know.
Bethel-Thompson watches on, or he knows his opportunity might be coming. Has a good run this time. Bouncing away from contact. KB Ento there to finish it off again after a gain of 11. But Ento is just about everywhere on this defense and special teams tonight.
Yeah, how about that first half for KB Ento? Guy who switched from receiver coming out of college to play DB.
What do we call when he ripped it away from the holder? I don't know. Is that an official stat?
It's a scoop and scoop. Well, I didn't score, so it's a scoop and run.
Fumble recovery?
Fumble recovery.
Yeah, on a holder rip out?
But, you know, in Colorado, he was a wide receiver. And then he went to the Green Bay Packers. They switched him to DB. And been a DB ever since. But I just, you know a guy and you've watched a guy and you've played great in the Grey Cup at 23, and you're thinking, he doesn't have an interception yet, and we're 9 games in. We're at the halfway part. Now, he missed 3 because of injury, but he's due. And sure enough, he came through that first half.
Dave Beauchemin making plays as well at free safety as the former Alouettes starting free safety. Marc-Antoine Dubois watching on, but Beauchemin continues to ball out here for the Alouettes. Beauchemin is alongside Arkenzie Laurent.
Yeah, Nate, let's talk about this defense. An explosive first half. It felt like your interception in that first quarter gained some momentum for you guys. What did you see on the play?
I mean, you know what? It was penalty after penalty, and we can't do that, you know. It's easy to come out flat when you know you have such high standards and the opponent is what it is, but you know what, that I like to think that's what's got us rolling, and we're just moving it on.
An interception for yourself, 2 for Kavian Ento, including a pick 6. What are you guys seeing out there that's accumulating these turnovers?
You know what, we're just doing what we do. We've already played them. Well, this is the 5th time, right? Like 2 preseason games and 2 regular season games. So, you know what, at this point, it's a lot. It just comes naturally, right? We've seen it a lot, and you know what, it doesn't matter to the opponent. The boys roll no matter what, and we go.
Okay, have fun.
Thank you very much.
Kate in the panel, over to you.
Well, these boys roll as well. They always do at halftime. That's what we're talking about in Thursday Night Football. Back alongside Enoch Mwamba, Davis Sanchez, Milt Siegel, we've got ourselves a 25-10 football game. Look, a very decent start by Ottawa, but then it has all come apart. And Milt, Glenn Suter kept asking the question. So sorry, Coach Stiegel.
Yes.
No,
Yeah,
Coach
right.
Stiegel.
My bad.
Are we going to see MBT in the second half?
Well, Glenn, he's a mind reader, because I'm hoping we see him, because that was my prediction. I actually wrote it down, put McLeod Bethel-Thompson in. So hopefully that's the case. They need a spark.
Milt literally was just lighting up. He's like, I actually wrote it on my piece of paper the entire time.
Can we not call him Coach Stiegel?
No, I think we should.
Enoch, the whole first quarter, Milt's talking about milk the clock, milk the clock. He'd lose his job on the first game.
Well, I'm trying to shorten up the game, baby. Shorten up the game. That's their best strategy.
You know what, though? I will give Glenn credit, too. He said that if Milt was a coach, everyone would need to be Milt Stiegel. And you say that all the time, and that's why you're never in coaching.
Exactly.
All right, Ches, look, it's tough sometimes when it comes to Ottawa, because we don't want to sit here every night and obviously look at every little mistake that they do. But sometimes, I mean, they're doing it to themselves, first of all, so it's very difficult. But you really like the fact that they're being aggressive, even though they are still making these mistakes. Yeah,
I have a list of mistakes that they've made in the first half that you just simply can't make. But the interception, I didn't think was a bad play. It's different if it's a misread. It looked like if he got the ball out there earlier on the outside, he had a one-on-one shot. He waited a bit, and the safety made a heck of a play. I didn't hate that play. But look, they lost momentum. Montreal took the lead after them going up 7-0, and then they get momentum back. I love this. Their special teams gets a big return out to the 50. They're only down a touchdown now, and of course, a penalty brings it back. And those are the type of mistakes when you're not. We said it over and over again. They're not the most talented football team. When they make plays like that and they're in games against a good team, you just simply can't have mistakes like that. So those are the ones I don't like. The aggression, I like that.
When you're a mediocre team, it's difficult to overcome those mistakes. Great teams can do it, but when you're the worst team in the league, you're not overcoming these mistakes. Every opportunity you get to score, I don't care how many points it is, you got to take advantage of it. And that has not been the case for these Redblacks. Yes, they are lacking in talent. Let's be honest about that. But they've had some opportunities, and they haven't taken full advantage of it. So it's not on the coaches, it's on those guys on the field. And I know they're saying the talent's not there, but they've had some opportunities. Are they going to beat the Montreal Alouettes? No, they're not going to beat the Montreal Alouettes. But let's make it a competitive game. And if you come out and play like you did in that first half, this is going to be they're going to put up a 50 burger, as they say. So let's hope they can come out and make it a competitive game, and let's hope they come out and start McLeod Bethel-Thompson.
When you lose so much after a while, being in a locker room like this, I know the conversation in the locker room becomes now, sadly, is let's not get embarrassed. And I think this is
That's
what it's
not the conversation, Enoch. Nobody's saying that. You heard somebody say that in the locker room?
Are you kidding? Yeah, I've heard it.
Let's not get embarrassed?
Let's not get embarrassed on the football field right now. And that is what's happening. And there's one play in particular that I want to talk about. And earlier, before the game, we're talking about how selfish you can become just because you want to, when you think about yourself. And this is a prime example of just that right there. Football is a team game. You have to play with the guys on the other side. Travis Tyson's a great player. He's a really good player. In the open field, even tougher to tackle him. When you see 3 Ottawa Redblacks player right there, 3 of them. And the sad part, and to me, when I watch film, if I go back to watch film the following day and I'm a coach, that is the stuff that makes it embarrassing because there's 3 of us. And we talked about it. It's communication. In, out. Yeah. You vice tackle that. This is the best case scenario for a defensive team. You want to have 3 guys on 1 person. And so it's all about communication. And right now, you can tell these guys are thinking, I'm by myself.
They can't communicate. They don't even know each other's name yet. They just started playing together yesterday.
You're not wrong.
They're trying to figure out each other's names.
By the way, I think you might think you don't want to, think in your head, we don't want to be embarrassed. I just never heard it, but you heard it.
Oh, I've heard it.
Yeah.
We're never embarrassed.
I ain't been on the team that bad. I've been on some bad teams.
Alex with the big lead. Dave Naylor stopping by to talk about the changes in Ottawa.
Coach Stengel, never. Milk the clock. Milked it.
Watch out my way when I'm coming down the lane. Got me full throttle, ain't no slowing down the train. Standing in my way, you ready for the pain? It's about full swing, man. You played a great game. Better watch out my way when I'm coming down the lane. Got me full throttle, ain't no slowing down the train. It's about full swing, man. You played a great game.
Week 12 in the CFL continues with little Friday night football. It's a Western showdown between the Blue Bombers and the Elks. And then Saturday, it is the CNA game. The panel will be on location. Battle of the QEW. Tiger Cats and Argonauts. Come on, Mother Nature. And it all wraps up on Sunday with the Rough Riders taking on the BC Lions. Alongside our CFL insider, Dave Naylor. And Dave, some big changes in the nation's capital this week. Adrian Sierra officially out as president. What does it mean for this position moving forward?
Well, I spoke to Mark Gowdy, the president and CEO of Ottawa Sports and Entertainment Group, and he said they are going to begin conversations immediately about filling that role. And the priority is going to be somebody with a football background. I think they're looking for somebody that can kind of understand both the business of football and the marketing and all the other side of that. But I think it's clear that a football person in that role is the priority. They know they've got to get the football side of things fixed. And the conversations are beginning, I think, immediately. They're going to go on over the next several weeks and months. In terms of a timeline, they haven't been committed to that other than to say they'd like to have this person in place sometime in 2026. And the other thing I think that's important in this is that Adrian Sierra's role, he had multiple roles within OSAG, including the junior hockey team, the Ottawa 67s. Mark Gowdy said he wants somebody who is focused on the Ottawa Redblacks 365 days a year.
Now, you have to ask the question, when we saw Adrian's name and him moving on, what does this mean now for Sean Burke and Ryan Dinwiddie?
Well, let's start with Ryan Dinwiddie. Mark Gowdy said he called him the cornerstone around which they're going to build. So Ryan Dinwiddie hired at the end of last season. You know, a lot of this roster, of course, predates him, and they still believe very strongly in Ryan Dinwiddie based on his success, of course, before getting to Ottawa. So he will be a firm part of the future. In Sean Burke's case, they've had just one playoff appearance in now 5 seasons, unless, assuming they don't make the playoffs this year, that would be 1 in 5. And I think it's difficult to say, as Mark Gowdy said, everything is kind of on the table. And whether Sean Burke might be able to be with the organization, perhaps in some different role, whether he's there, whether he's not, those are things that are going to be determined. But I think they are operating sort of independently as they pursue this new president role, regardless of what other changes, may happen around them.
One big move already made. We'll have to wait and see if there are any more coming to the Ottawa Redblacks. But of course, they have a game to finish here tonight. The Redblacks currently down 25-10, and
Goodness.
Oh, my. Hey.
Goodness.
Coach Steve.
What is going on, Coach?
Please stop that.
Welcome back to Montreal as we get week number 12 rolling in the Canadian Football League season. It started so well for the Ottawa Redblacks, but the Alouettes have stormed their way back into this one. Head coach of Ottawa, Ryan Dinwiddie, is alongside our Kenzie Lalonde.
Coach, we look at the first quarter. Your team controlled most of it before things shifted. How do you contain this Alouettes offense?
Yeah, we got to sustain some drives. I thought the defense did some good things, right? We got to tackle a lot better, especially on second down. But, we get them 2 scores. Other than that, I thought we're playing decent football.
At this time, are you considering a quarterback change at all?
We'll continue to let Jake go, and if we feel like that's going to give us a spark, we'll make that decision.
Appreciate the time.
Yeah, thank you.
Jake Mayer on an 18-game pace of 702 passing attempts. The 700 attempt benchmark has only been achieved 6 times in CFL history, not since Ricky Ray in 2005 for Edmonton. Will he get to continue slinging it, or will McLeod Bethel Thompson take over at some point and try to lead the Redblacks back against the highly talented Montreal Alouettes?
Was it just me, or was Coach Dinwiddie a little surprised by the question? I think the question had to be asked. Good job by Kenzie.
Well, a lot of people interested in finding out the answer, as are we. His opening possession will go to the Montreal Alouettes. And we get a look at Davis Alexander in his first half of action here at home.
Yeah, they didn't hit the alarm clock until the second series. It was after the Nate Boschman interception that the offense got rolling. It was that very next drive after the interception we found the end zone. Tyson Philpott doesn't have big numbers as far as yardage go, does have the touchdown. But they got it going, especially in that second quarter.
A little bit of the swagger there from Davis Alexander, as well as we talked with Pierre-Olivier Lestache's left guard about that this week. And now Lestache will block on the opening play of the third quarter for Travis Tice. Always falling forward. Interesting discussion at halftime with Davis Milton, Enoch, alongside our Kate Burness about how to handle Travis Tice and his aggressive running style.
How about the down blocks here from Callender and Olivier Lestage? Just seal down blocks so that Tice can make that jump cut to the left. A little help from the fullback in Jacob Mason.
Tice all smiles all the time with the opportunity he's been given in this offense, making the most of it here in 2026. This time Alexander plays off and flips it out to Sneed, and in between coverage, this is the battle as you are trying to defend the high-powered Montreal Alouettes offense.
Yeah, their conversation at halftime was, let's get this thing done. Let's wrap it up in the third quarter. Start with the football, finish with the major, get on our way to that 50-burger as the panel talked about.
Great slow-mo of Alexander finding the laces to rip that one to Sneed. It was his first catch of the ball game. Tyson Philpott already has a touchdown in this one. Nearly had 2 if King Ambrose didn't get his fingers on a vertical pass attempt earlier on.
Well, real smart play calling here too, in the combination of AC and Coach Moss on the sideline. It's these kind of play calls too will protect Davis Alexander. I mean, he'll still take his shots. Don't get me wrong, but quick game, run game, chew up the clock. You've got the lead. Moving the football.
Side run, Tice. Second and a couple. Falls forward once again, goes and gets it. We talked to Pierre-Olivier Lestage this week, and he talked about Davis Alexander. He said, I've never played for a quarterback who likes to run around and talk trash. At first, it made me feel real awkward. And then I got used to it and loved it.
Yeah, and then he got a bobblehead.
Right.
So, boy, he's got a good one to learn from, too, in Jason Moss and Anthony Calvillo.
No doubt. Travis Tice again back to work. Look at the Alouettes here. Suits trying to give Ottawa a little dose of their own medicine after the first quarter.
Well, Travis Tice is I mentioned in the first half, is one of the best in the league at breaking tackles. And here's yards after contact. And he's going after the top guys in the league, Justin Rankin, Dedrick Mills, leading the league in rushing too, and he's going after them. A few carries less than those guys.
I think we can all agree, if you have a running back with a mullet, he's not falling backwards at the end of a play, right? That guy's falling forwards. See if he does here. They give it to Tice once again, downhill and inside the 15-yard line. Goes Tice, but I was saying a little bit of their own medicine, right? The first quarter got squeezed by the Ottawa Redblacks trying to kill some clock. This feels like a game management and dominance kind of drive from the Alouettes.
You know, I haven't done a whole lot of Alex games this year, but the ones I have, I'm trying to figure out what is the actual superpower for Travis Tice. Like, what does he do really well? And it might be his vision. You know, the way he makes those jump cuts as he's hitting the line of scrimmage. He's become patient like good running backs are, waiting for their blocks to get set up. But I think it's his vision and quickness.
This time they'll bounce him out. They'll go to block as Tyson Philpott gets a tunnel screen, cuts it back inside, and then finally nice forward. And tackled by Kihama. But Philpott inside the 5.
By their standards, Marsh, it's a slow first half for Tyson Philpott. I mean, he would have 100 yards by now in most games. So another way to get him the football.
The confidence to take your potential MOP nominee receiver and throw him right back into traffic, right? Because you know Tyson will make the most of it.
MOP discussion, no question. But the guy throwing it to him, how do you not vote for this guy?
Well, this is the interesting challenge. There's an injured Redblack down on the field getting attended to right now. What do you do with the MOP nominee for the Montreal Alouettes? We'll discuss that as we continue on with Thursday Night Football here at Percival Molson. A 25-10 lead for Davis Alexander, Jason Moss, and the Alouettes. We get a look at Tyson Philpott up against Alan Pitts from the 1994 season. Eerily similar in terms of the numbers where they stand right now. The thing is, Tyson's done it a little bit quicker.
Well, he has. I mean, he was at 1,000 yards in 8 games, and only a couple of guys have done that, Hal Patterson and Terry Greer. And you take a look at Pitt's year in 94, and I remember thinking, if a receiver doesn't win it this year, he may never win it.
Terry Wilson trying to earn back some trust in short yardage, but the MOP discussion is an interesting one because typically if your receiver's getting nominated, it's because he has outperformed his quarterback. But how do you argue that Davis has been outperformed by anyone right now?
Exactly. And when you and that year, Doug Flutie was the starting quarterback for Calgary. Alan Pitts had his 2,000 yards, but Flutie had a huge season and was their nominee and won the award. One of a bunch of times he won the award. And that was the year I thought, well, if Alan Pitts can't win it after 2,000 yards receiving, I'm not sure a receiver will ever beat a quarterback.
Tough to do, but we'll see as award season nears. And for now, in the moment, Travis Tice in the Alouettes offensive line controlling the line of scrimmage and setting the tone here early on in the third quarter, 31-10.
That's taking nothing away from the year for Tyson Philpott, of course. But maybe as we continue this discussion, we talk about maybe changing the rule so that 2 players can be in the discussion for outstanding player, or any of the awards for that matter. Doesn't have to just be 1 per team.
I think Davis handed that off before he was celebrating. He already knew it was going.
Yeah, he saw the blocking off that left side and said, oh, yeah, he's in.
It's been that kind of season, but it is a great point. How fantastic would it be at the Grey Cup in Calgary coming up in November to have Tyson Philpott standing on a stage next to Davis Alexander for our game's highest praise.
Well, I'm not sure they can change the rule that quickly, but it may be down the road. You know, I've always thought that why does it have to be 1 per team if you've got 2 guys that have earned the nominations on the same team? Why not?
Travis Tice is saying, what about me on drives like this? I mean, that's the thing about the Alouettes offense is as soon as you start leaning in on Philpott and Alexander getting on the edge, it's like, well, Tice is just going to rock you right up the middle.
Well, that's outstanding play calling, too. It's just loves the O-line. The O-line got a chance to lean on that front hand and go after it and run block. Quick game for Davis Alexander. Play calling that really protects their starting quarterback with a big lead over Ottawa.
Montreal continues to put up big numbers, 34.1 offensive points per game, tied for first with the Calgary Stampeders. 454 net yards per game, well ahead of second-ranked Toronto. Owls have scored no fewer than 29 points in any of their games. And already at 32 here as Daniel Adeboboye tries to create some energy on the Redblacks sideline. And gets it out to the 40.
Well, we're going to see more Jake Maier in this third quarter. In his first series, he was, 6 for 7. Just one incompletion that first series. They were on the 1-yard line, took 4 cracks with a penalty in there to get it in. But after that, it went downhill. Davis Sanchez talking about that interception to Boschman, that he didn't mind it because it was an aggressive play. I only didn't like it because it was 1st and 5.
Trying to treat the playbook as wide open, and it obviously backfired as a gain of 9. Here for Aiden Eberhardt, one of the bright spots in this passing attack.
But Davis's point is a good one. Like, you know, the one thing you don't want is to all of a sudden become super conservative and try to just not lose. I mean, it's too late now, but I mean that Ottawa doesn't want to do that either. So, you know, I get the point.
Crowd into it here in late August in Montreal. Bryson Barnes comes in with short yardage. Second and a full yard to go, and he'll try to sprint the right-hand side once again and goes as horizontal as he possibly can before finally getting escorted out of bounds by Micah Awe. Led the CFL in tackles last year and playing an important but bit of a depth role this year unless injuries have reared their ugly head this season.
This is one thing that Noel Thorpe might look at and just try to be a little harder on that edge. That was Najee Murray from the linebacking core, and that's a couple times that on short yardage that Barnes has got outside of the formation, and it just means that Najee Murray can widen a little bit more and come down hard on that corner.
There looks to throw here. Eberhardt is waiting at the 50, makes the grab, and Wesley Sutton all over him. It'll be second down. There's 1 to go, so we'll see Barnes once again.
Yeah, so if Najee Murray is still that edge player, he can shut this down by widening a little bit and then crashing the edge. A little bit wider and then crash down.
Right up the middle this time. Barnes goes. I was going to say, looked like Joffrey Canton-Arcou and Najee Murray and all the rest have kind of gone to that left side of the defense, just waiting for Barnes to maybe take a little sprint horizontal and try to go wide again, but right up the chute he goes, picks up the first down. 7 minutes remaining, clock rolling, and down 22 points. So the Redblacks here with control.
Low man wins on that play.
Plenty of players aiming to prove they belong in the Redblacks organization at all positions, especially in both sides of the line. In this second half of the CFL season, based on their win-loss record, it's a nice little jet sweep this time. Goes to Khalil Pimpleton, the former, speaking of receivers who get MOP nominees. Pimpleton doing that last year for the Redblacks.
Yeah, and a talent. I mean, he's a player you can win with. And that's what Ryan Dinwiddie now, looking at 0-10, staring that in the face, it really becomes the evaluation of the players he has, the moves he's got to make throughout the rest of this year and then into the offseason.
With the big waggle off the line of scrimmage here is Maier will pull it, looks to throw, and then just dumps it into the feet of an intended, and now flags come out.
See what Noel Thorpe does. I mean, he has got so many different looks. There's Perales, defensive end. And Ken Narcou is in his normal spot. But they'll shift around, look like they're going to come, and then they'll just sit at the line, and that's Beverette that you don't see until late. Beverette's coming off the edge.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness. Montreal number 94. 15 yards, automatic first down.
Mustafa Johnson.
Well, I thought
Anderson at the end.
I thought the one on the quarterback earlier was worse than that.
Yep.
That wasn't called.
Montreal 12. Okay, we're going to go another 10 yards. Okay, Montreal 12.
Najee Murray said something.
Well, a bit of a throwback maybe here to the first quarter.
Misconduct foul. Montreal number 12. 10 yards. First down.
Despite the difference in points from that first quarter, the Alouettes backing themselves up with some discipline issues here that Jason Moss not a huge fan of whenever we talk to him.
That's the tighten up the belt defense.
5 wide for Jake Mayer. 3 games started for Saskatchewan last year. Came to Ottawa, named a starter. Trying to get the first win for the Redblacks and dumps this one underneath to the 10-yard line. Greg Bell on the receiving end. It'll be second down.
Mustafa Johnson goes a long way on this. I mean, first of all, he lines up in the middle of the defense, so he's that defensive tackle right here. He's going to rush and then come back, and he's the guy who makes the tackle. This is how you become a good team. This is how you become an 8-1 team. Mustafa Johnson goes up in a double team, turns around, comes back, and makes a tackle on that check down to Bell.
Adebaboye will help pass protect. Mayer gets blasted as he throws. Incomplete, but it looked like early contact came on Aiden Everhart from Robert Kennedy III.
Now Robert Kennedy can say all he wants. That was early. Let's see the hit on Jake Mayer.
Montreal number 37. Foul occurred at goal. First down at the 1-yard line.
Motion from the safety. And here's the early contact. It's Everhart, Kennedy, and bam, knocks him down. Ball in the air. No question there.
Blast right into the midsection of Jake Mayer. Pops to his feet. Bryson Barnes back in with short yardage. To the right-hand side, he tries to sprint, now goes off tackle, pushes the pile forward. Touchdown, Redblacks. And some much-needed life.
Okay, so you're right, Marsh. I mean, much needed to get that score, get in the end zone, penalty aided or not, whatever, get in the end zone, get that done. Okay, now Ottawa's got to look to stack, and the way they do that to stack a positive play is to get a turnover. They don't need it. They've never needed a turnover more on defense when Davis Alexander comes back out after this drive than right now. I mean, it's the type of complementary football you need.
Go through, try to put those plays together. It'd be helpful to go for 2 and tighten things down here. As Mayer, with 3 receivers to his right, looks that way, steps up in the pocket, pressure coming from behind, and Mayer brought down, 2-point, no good. And a flag comes out at the end of the play on Mustafa Johnson, who got tangled up again.
Oh boy. Didn't see a problem on the sack.
Johnson was down around the goal line as Mayer got taken down in the middle of the field around the 5-7 yard line.
Yeah, this is going against him, and he was getting blocked. Didn't see the number.
This is the top pick. I think it's Vaccaro. He got it into it one-on-one with Johnson. And so Vaccaro onto his feet. Helmet off for now.
Yeah, he throws Vaccaro to the ground.
After the play is a 15-yard misconduct foul against Montreal number 94. That 15-yard penalty will be applied on the kickoff.
You got to keep track of these misconducts because 2 and you're out.
9 plays, 70 yards in 4:21. And Mustafa Johnson, after the play was done, tangled up with the top overall pick in the CFL, but Bryson Barnes into the end zone from Ottawa here late in the third.
Look at Mustafa Johnson and his penalty He gets right here engaged in Vaccaro, and at the end of it, he feels like he's being held. You could tell by the way he got up in his body language. But that hog tie and throw him to the ground is a misconduct penalty.
Hog tie or gator roll?
Gator roll.
A little bit of both.
Hog tied and gator rolled. Down he goes.
Full speaker catches the moonshot. Alouettes get possession back with Davis Alexander and a picturesque evening here in the beautiful city of Montreal, Quebec. Davis Alexander, the season has been special, as we know. It's incredible to see what he can do when he has been fully healthy. In terms of pace, the single season in CFL history, the projection is right there, chasing at the heels of 91 Flutie, which is elite air.
Yeah, how much does he have to increase that pace to beat the record? And then 91, I can't remember exactly how many overtime games there were for Doug Flutie, but I want to say it was 4 or 5 overtime games that added to that total.
But Doug was cheating then. No, he probably would have got there in regular time as well. They go back to Travis Tice. Inside, breaks 2 arm tackles and a third. Always hard to bring down the big body of Travis Tice.
But this offense in its entirety is just fun to watch. I mean, they've got Mason in there at fullback who doesn't get enough credit for his blocking. I mean, he takes the edge player there and gives Tice a chance. So he goes across and makes sure he blocks the right guy, the executes his assignment. And Tice picks up the first down.
You were saying that the Redblacks need an interception. Will they get a chance, or will the Alouettes play keep away? Ball possession, control the clock, pound the rock, throw some screens.
Interception, rip it out and try to create a fumble or turnover somehow. I mean, in order to break the slump and bump the slump, you've got to figure out a way to stack positive plays and grab that momentum back. And right now, Jason Moss's point of view, he's saying, let's just grind it down. They'll forget about that touchdown they just scored, and we'll go put more points on the board. How long does he keep Davis Alexander out there is the next question.
DA looks left, comes back right. Always reliable Tyson Philpott bouncing through 2 tackle attempts. And bumped out by Lucas Cormier, talented Canadian linebacker out of Mount Allison. But Philpott continues to do what Philpott does.
Yeah, when I see him in these angles, you see down low and you see how he runs, especially after he has the ball in his hands. He's taller than his dad, Corey, but he reminds me a little of the same running style. Quickness, his foot speed, outstanding, and such a smooth route runner coming out of his break.
Alexander looks to throw down the right rail, up for grabs, and incomplete. Intended for Hollins. Haven't said his name yet this evening, but Alexander Hollins giving Davis Alexander an opportunity.
Yeah, out there at that wideout spot, and just a straight go route, just saying, hey, we got a one-on-one, we got a man-to-man situation down here. Let's just take a shot. Look at the accuracy, though, for Davis Alexander to put it out front of Cuba, so he doesn't really have a shot at it.
Is there a challenge flag out here from Jason Moss on a potential pass interference?
Montreal's challenged with the previous play for defensive pass interference. The play will be reviewed.
Chadwell Cuba, another one of the newcomers in the secondary for the Ottawa Redblacks. I mean, you take a look at this secondary. Alonzo Adai aside at safety, you need a program. That's what we used to call it, Neil. I don't know if they still do programs. We're probably on your phone now, but it's you take a look at no Demario Houston, no Shakir Brown, no Amari Henderson. Just trying to find different combinations to get that first win in Ottawa. Oh, that timing looked pretty good. Again, that was the Davis Sanchez drive the arm through the hands of the receiver. when the ball's about to arrive. And as a corner, you're trying to read the eyes and the expression of the receiver running down the field. When he gets those big eyes, that's when you lift your hand up because the ball's about to arrive. See what the decision is here.
After review by the replay center, ruling on the field stands. Second down, Montreal, by losing a challenge, has lost a timeout.
Yeah, I would agree with that decision. Definitely. Worth a try, I guess, if you're Jason Moss, but timing looked pretty good.
And Kruba the second filling in for Demario Houston, that boundary corner spot. So in his first year doing a good job holding things down and not committing the pass interference call that was challenged. Is now a big hit on Alexander as he releases, and Tyler Snead bounces through 2, now 3 tackles. Inside the 25, and Alexander readjusts the shoulder pads.
Yeah, he took a hit there. And this is the concern, you know, and it's not a big enough margin. Little inside stunt, just 4-man pressure, but an inside stunt. And that's Sione Tehama. Jason Moss wants to avoid many more of those.
We've seen plenty of Tehama in his CFL career. Out west is now Alexander. Rifles this one into a tight window. Only one spot that he could put it, and he did, to Alexander Hollins. First and goal.
Yeah, big time arm talent here. I mean, we're talking about, you're right. I mean, this is a work the inside and then the timing out. Hollins just coming back and right at the cone. In fact, in practice, and you'll know this better than anybody, in practice, the quarterbacks will say that. They'll say, just go right to the cone. I don't care how you get there. I don't care how many wiggles or whatever you do. Just get there. I'm going to put it right on that outside edge.
Well, sometimes Davis seems to treat games as practice when he fits it into those tiny windows for fun. As now Terry Wilson to the left-hand side. And the short yardage quarterbacks trade majors. Barnes just had one for the Redblacks, and Montreal answers with Wilson as Davis Alexander returns to the field to celebrate.
Okay, now you have to bring it up. We talked about his pace, chance to maybe go after Flutie's record. Tyson Philpott as well, and his pace going after Alan Pitt's record. So you know you want, as a coach, to have Davis Alexander continue to add to those totals in the fourth quarter. But now you've got a lead against an 0-9 team at possibly 39-16 here. Do you take your starter out and rest him for the fourth quarter?
We know how valuable Davis Alexander, when healthy, has been to the Alouettes. And on 7-play, 78-yard drives like that, controlling the pace of play, we see how special he is once again as Terry Wilson punches it in. Alexander needs to average 387 pass yards per game the rest of the season to tie Flutie's record. See if he stays in as we continue Montreal. Well, Montreal and Ottawa, rivals, of course, we know here in the East Division, sharing a little bit of geography, but a couple of ex-rivals turned teammates are on the Alouette sideline with more. Here's Kenzie Lalonde.
Johnson and Perales. This is just their second time lining up on the Owls D line with the Alouettes after 4 years as high school rivals in California. Perales had a chance to do his high school Merced. As for Mustafa Johnson, he was at Turlock, and Perales used to guard Johnson. And he said, look, Mustafa is the same size he is today as he was in high school, stronger than everybody, and so much so that there was one game, Perales' team was on the second-yard line about to score. Johnson stripped the ball, ran it back for 98 yards, and broke Perales' hand in the process. Now that's in the history. They're thrilled to be teammates now, and Johnson got a phone call from Perales when he signed to tell him a little bit more about Montreal Alouettes and what it means to live in the city of Montreal.
It's tough, Kenzie. Yeah, sometimes you go to those high school fields and go, who's that kid? Well, Mustafa Johnson was that guy, I'm sure.
I'm still, as a great reporter, I'm still wondering about Mustafa Johnson was the same size as he is now in high school. Right now, he's 6'1" and 300 bills. I mean.
So I'm saying, you walk up to a field. I remember going to a Yates Cup between Guelph and Western. And Tavius Robinson, who's now in the National Football League, was playing first year for the Guelph Griffins. I walked in behind him, and my eyes were at the middle of his back. And I was like, who's this dude? Why are you here?
You think your football might be in your future if you're high school and you're his size.
Great story, great connection, and now teammates on a very successful Alouettes club trying to track down Jake Bear. As the ball knocked away, Canton Arcou got his hand on it, and did the Alouettes recover? It looks like Montreal possession as Isaac Adiemi Berglund has the rock. That will do it for 3 quarters of play. 39-16, the Alouettes in control. Jeffrey Canton Arcou got chipped and popped it loose on Jake Mayer in his windup. The Alouettes control. 1 more quarter to play here in Montreal, week number 12. The Ottawa Redblacks trail 39-16 against the dominant Alouettes as they continue to roll here at home. They did it to the Edmonton Elks a couple of weeks ago, Suits, and now they're doing it at home against an East rival that they've been controlling for quite some time.
Coach Stiegel and I have a question for you, the former quarterback. I mean, we have a question because what does it do to Jake Mayer, and could it be a spark to make a change? I don't think Canton Arcou tipped that ball out of his hands. I think he just dropped it on his own. And again, I'm not blaming Jake Mayer for the score here or the 0-9 record completely. I don't think Canton Arcou got there in time. He just dropped it. So, your former quarterback, could it provide a spark to put MBT out there?
Well, the sideline certainly looks like it could use it right now from the Redblacks. As a lot of guys sitting down, not a lot of talking going on. Is the Alouettes strike on the first play of the fourth? Tyler Sneed. There is a flag out. And Alexander showing his frustration.
Offside. Montreal number 85. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Guarantee you Jason Moss in the post-game interview is going to be asked about his team and the big win and improving to 9-1, and he's going to say we had too many penalties. We lost our composure at times. We've got to fix that. We've got to clean that up. And there's no question that he was early on that waggle to the line of scrimmage. Tyler Sneed.
They would have been at exactly 1,000 yards receiving on the season with that catch, but he gets wiped out. So Alexander will dump it underneath to Travis Tice after the penalty yardage is applied. They'll get a chunk of it back.
So if they convert and do finish with a major here, then I'm pulling both quarterbacks. Both teams. And I know that'll affect the overall pace for Davis Alexander. Looks like McLeod Bethel Thompson, is he starting to think about warming up?
Sure, he would love to. Get some reps and signing with the Redblacks as this one settled down. And again, one of those just kind of nuanced little throws with the chemistry of Tyson Philpott and Davis Alexander, right, Suits? You just throw him into the only spot that's going to keep him safe and create a completion.
Yeah, the size of that window was the size of a porthole in a boat. Like it was tiny, and he fit it right through there. And yeah, you're right. I mean, Tyson Philpott turned around, the ball arrived. His dad, Corey, by the way, coaching at Langley Rams in BC. He's a pretty good player in his own right.
I was going to joke earlier when you said, hey, the lower leg drive and seeing the yards after the catch, and I was going to say, man, he looks like Jalen. Multiple ways. He looks like Jalen, his talented brother with Calgary.
Yes.
They're both having tremendous seasons, but Tyson
through the roof. I mean, just
playing the lead.
Huge numbers. I mean, on pace for 2,000. Kidding me? 2,300 as a matter of fact.
Marcus Barnes goes to the sideline here.
And the problem with it is, if you're an opposing defense, I don't care, even the good teams, is you really can't give him a whole lot of extra attention. You know, it's easy to say, let's take Tyson Philpott away and see if they can beat us with Tyler Snead and Cole Speaker and, you know, Alexander Hollins. And the answer to that is, yeah, they can. Yeah, exactly.
Finding a way. This is a deep and talented Alouettes crew. As Alexander pulls, looks to throw, and on cue, extending his CFL lead. Touchdown, Tyson Philpott.
Well, first of all, by the design of the play, Montreal brings in the big team, so they have extra protection. So basically, they go from 5 to 7 up front. Gives Davis Alexander lots of protection. He's going to move the pocket in the launch point. Play action holds the linebackers. Got a couple receivers, one pushing to the flat, and Tyson Philpott in the curl, just hooked up there. And he has his choice. Probably could have thrown it to either one.
Yeah, it's like Davis wants Tyson to win the MOP.
So in our world, they could both be finalists.
I'd love to see it. We could just immediately change that rule and get both these guys, both the pitch, the catch, and the reception onto the stage in November. They certainly look like they deserve it.
So if you're an Ottawa fan right now, you're saying, why didn't the Ottawa secondary see Tyson Philpott? Because Davis Alexander was rolling out that way after the play fake. Stop it here. He didn't see him because he came from all the way on the backside. And then all of a sudden he flashes there. There's a push to the flat right over here. And the secondary is almost surprised to see him. Which is saying something when it's number 6. Don't be surprised if you see him in the end zone with the ball in his hands.
These guys are having so much fun playing football right now. Hamilton catches it at the 25, returns it for 12 yards before Jonathan Sutherland makes another special teams tackle here this evening, and with a 30-point delta between Montreal and Ottawa, welcome to the game, McLeod, Bethel, Thompson.
Yeah, well, I guess better late than never to see if this could make a difference.
Check down, never a bad place to start for McLeod Bethel Thompson. As of course, his history with Ryan Dinwiddie.
Well, yeah.
During their time with the Toronto Argonauts.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's why we talked about it as early as the second quarter, as it was coming to an end.
BT underneath to Keelan White, got off to a hot start, but apropos of the way that this game has gone as they'll move the sticks with another completion.
Now with Dinwiddie in 22 in Toronto, McLeod Bethel Thompson led the league in passing yards.
McLeod with the pass attempt knocked down at the line of scrimmage. The Alouettes D adjusting nicely to the new deliverer of the football on the other side.
You're right about the body language, though, and I know, you know, it's a beatdown, and that, if anyone's hungry, that, like the panel said, that 50 burger's on its way, it looks like, but the body language coming out at halftime of the Redblacks was kind of milling around the bench.
See if McLeod can give them a spark down the seam. It's Keelan White. Talented young Canadian out of Montana reaches to the skies here in Quebec and hauls it in.
There he goes right down the seam.
Redblacks moving. Giving chase and almost slips out of his hands the same way it did for Jake Mayer at the end of the third quarter.
Had a few reps this year, but he's going to have to get his feet underneath him, I'm sure. 38-year-old McLeod Bethel Thompson.
Keeps himself in great shape. Ryan Dinwiddie said he knew when they made the Drew Brown decision to send him to Winnipeg that McLeod was kind of lined up and ready to go. Dinwiddie felt as though bringing him in was better than any other option they could have of a current backup or someone in the CFL might be a third stringer just based on his experience and his big arm as well as this one hung up in the area of Justin Hardy. It is incomplete, falls to the ground after Keelan Guthrie knocked it away.
Couple of deep shots though, and that's one thing that's been missing in this Red-Black offense throughout the season. Has been those explosion plays.
Really nothing to lose as well for McLeod, right? Cut it loose. Sure. You're on an 0-19, trailing by 30. You're on the road.
Get some reps. Get ready. Who knows what happens next week?
Certainly knows how to diagnose defenses. The number of times he's played this Noel Thorpe coach team as he feeds this one into traffic and intercepted. It's picked up by Najee Murray. As the Redblacks go chasing, looks like Drew Desjardins finally makes the tackle on Najee Murray. Different quarterback, same story for the Redblacks. A drive that ends in a turnover in the waiting hands of an Alouettes defender. In the ball game for the Montreal Alouettes. That means Davis Alexander's day. It is all done as Crum, former Ottawa Redblack, where he cut his teeth in the Canadian Football League, and one of the smartest guys you'll ever have a conversation with. He just loves the game and continues to look for opportunities to get better. His next one is right now with 10 minutes left in this fourth quarter and leading by 30.
And this is a smart move. I mean, this is getting your all-star quarterback some rest. You know, he's had that hamstring in the past that's been nagging him a little bit.
Handed off to get things going. Davis Alexander, by the way, exactly as they push the pile forward and forward and forward and more. Punctuation maybe coming in the fourth quarter here with the ground attack as Shamari Lawrence refusing to be taken down.
Travis Tice getting a little bit of a break too. I'll tell you what, there's been some key blocks from Jacob Mason at fullback that often get overlooked, but very important in that offense. 260 for Davis Alexander, so below his average if you're keeping track of that projection.
Handoff inside. This time, a better job by the Redblacks holding it. But he's at exactly 3,400 passing yards this season. So pace is 6,120. That's your most recent. I feel like we're playing Price is Right for like the next 10 weeks. We're just going to be going, where's he at? Where's he at?
We're keeping track like that on Tyson as well.
Yeah.
Tyson Philpott out there because, and by the way, his dad used to coach in Langley. But yeah, when you count his numbers up and his projections, can Crum get him the ball to keep those numbers climbing?
Tied at the hip. Philpott and Alexander's numbers, obviously, as Crum looks over the top and gets it to Tyson and puts his shoulder down. It doesn't matter the quarterback. Give me the football.
Yeah, and habits are hard to break. I mean, this team, Montreal, one of the reasons it's going to improve to 9-1 is the way they practice, the way they compete. And Tyson competing here, he could easily just step out of bounds, but he goes and gets another extra 2 yards with his game well in hand and takes the hit or actually delivers a blow on Alonzo Adai.
That's one of those reps that is yeah, enjoy your time in the CFL, group of the second, because Tyson Philpott, stutter, go, shut it down, beat you around the corner when he's lining up the big hit. I mean, that is Special stuff from Tyson Philpott.
Remember Grom in Ottawa and how well he can run the football. That 23 season had 741 yards rushing from the quarterback position. You let him outside and he can outrun DBs.
Is that the Crumb Dog Millionaire season?
Some big comebacks.
The Crumbacks? Yeah.
Crumbacks.
Over the middle, settling down. Cole Speaker, ball set loose. As C.J. Rivas got a clean shot on Speaker. Works his way back to his feet. Tap on the head from Stafford, who had the big tackle earlier on as well, but punting unit comes out for the Alouettes. Haven't said that very much here tonight.
No, you haven't. And this is a big hit too. This one, Speaker took a second to regroup, turned around and
is Ryan Dinwiddie going to throw a challenge, potentially looking for a creation of a turnover somehow.
Ottawa is challenging the ruling of an incomplete pass. The play will be reviewed.
They're saying that Speaker had it, and then the hit dislodged it, so it should have been a fumble that was immediately recovered by Ottawa. Actually, it looked like the officials kind of let it run and then blew the play dead.
See the frustration from Jason Moss.
Yeah, the scoreboard doesn't matter, does it, to coaches? They just want to keep on top of every detail.
To the credit of the Redblacks, for a team that's got no victories on the season, continuing to play hard, not just with the C.J. Rivas hit there, but also the immediate recovery, which maybe inspired Ryan Dinwiddie being willing to take a look at this. They have an announcement.
After review by the replay center, the ruling on the field stands. It's third down. Ottawa, by losing a challenge, has lost the timeout.
Well, Suits, that is like me going fishing anywhere, just casting endlessly with nothing.
If you need
taking
help,
a nibble on the other end.
If you need help fishing, you come to the right place, my friend.
I saw Brad Sinopoli in here earlier.
Oh yeah, he's a fishing guide. He's another level. That's another level.
Redblacks legend. As the punt sent away, Joseph Zima. Falls to Khalil Pimpleton, who continues to ply his trade in the return game. Think we could catch any fish in there?
Well, there's got to be something down there.
We'll find out after
Get the downriggers going.
Welcome back as we get a look at Alexander Gagne, one of the talented special teamers. The big bodies moving around and playing plenty of roles on the teams for Byron Archambault's unit as he gives chase down the field here and continues to show why he is one of the elite. I got right in there with Barassa, another former Ottawa Redblack.
Well, his assignment there was first personal protector, so make sure the ball is kicked before you leave, and then stay in your lane, and he did.
Chasing some history as well in the Alouettes organization. Does the name Chip Cox ring any bells?
Yeah.
This guy who did a little bit of everything for so long.
You have to have guys like that. I mean, they're so important, and the teammates know. Special teams film room is the entire team.
Claude Bethel Thompson incomplete to the outside, looking for Kate McDonald. But earlier this year, Noel Thorpe asked him about Gagne and said, do you want him on defense? Does he do things in practice on defense? Or he said, you know what, I used to ask him to come over. Like, he might warm up with the linebackers and stuff, but he basically goes with the long steppers and the kickers. He is our star of stars on special teams. And again, we talk about the Davis Alexanders and the Tyson Philpotts, the Travis Tices, the Tyrese Beveretts. I can keep going and going and going. The team is built by dudes like that, just grinding away, right?
Oh, and teammates love it. You know, and they watch it together. They watch the tape together. Maybe the quarterbacks aren't in there, but the rest of the team is. And then they break off into their groups, offense, defense, etc.
Noah Getman hangs this one high above Percival Molson, and Monte Dedman finally tackled. We'll draw flags. As inspired by the iconic...
Major foul, unnecessary roughness. Ottawa number 9. 15 yards. First down.
Nice job.
As the call comes in from Tim Croker, our referee. And with 5:11 remaining, 46 points hanging on the board, and Montreal back to work with Dustin Crum. Crum hands it off inside. Shamara Lawrence getting some run here, as they've also taken Travis Tice out of the ball game. And the Alouettes trying to track down the season-high 48 points that they set just a few weeks ago here at home against the Edmonton Elks.
So this is game 1 of a big weekend of football. Wraps up with BC and Saskatchewan on Sunday. But in anticipation of this being a possibility in the scoreboard, I thought we'd look at some of the big catches this year, because Tyson Philpott has a few of them.
He has made some special ones as the Alouettes backup unit. All about competing and continues to push the football right down the throats of the Redblacks. As we look at some of the best catches of the season, and you'll see a couple of familiar people in this pack.
Well, you'll see number 6 a bunch, but yeah, there's Philpott stealing one off the back of a defender. This was Carrick Wheatfall, Trey Ford in the win against Saskatchewan last week. One of the best, but when you're looking at a top 10, how many does Philpott have? 4 or 5?
Special ball skills that he's put on display throughout this year. He'll hand it off again to Lawrence, who stutters his feet. Philpott, by the way, 5 touchdown catches in the last 2 games. He had that 3 touchdown performance against Edmonton here at home.
So
then the bye week comes back. He only had 1 touchdown in his first 6 games.
Well, there were so many of them, we had to go to a second reel. How about a DB getting in there? Come on.
By Alexander.
You know Kenny Lawler's going to be involved, and here we go.
This is my favorite. The body control on that one. We play it back in slow-mo. He ran full speed, and then at the last second jumped and just
the
hung in the
3-minute
air.
warning.
Philpott has done a little bit of everything this season, and no signs of slowing down, which makes everybody here at Percival Molson, who hasn't left, extremely happy to see him healthy and productive as the Owls get set to roll to another victory. Week 12 of the Canadian Football League rolls along. Friday night football, and it's a beauty. The Bombers and the Elks, live from Commonwealth. Pre-game coverage begins 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific on TSN. Cody Fajardo and the Elks with a statement victory at home after losing here on the road against the Montreal Alouettes. They went home. Toronto Argonauts came to town, and they were able to create a variety of turnovers. Got back into the win column, and it looks a heck of a lot like a bobblehead that I've seen around here tonight.
That's the look. That's the bobblehead look.
August Tukes?
Oh, yeah, just... There you go.
He knows.
It's on the big screen here, and he's shaking his head. I love it.
Well, they love him, and Davis loves being in Montreal, clearly. That's great. His backup, Dustin Crum, completes this one. Marco Dubois gets the rare touch and walked out of bounds. Davis Alexander to 20-1.
Wow. Start the season. One of the reasons that scoring has been up so far is that 3 of those 4, Bo is hopefully coming back before the end of the season, injured in Hamilton, but 3 of those 4 playing this year. Oh, got Hamilton started. Nathan Rourke seems to be getting in a groove, and let's not forget Trevor Harris, also a former Alouette.
Plenty of competitive football in front of us and great quarterback play lined up as Cloyd makes the tackle that time on Lawrence here. A little bit of garbage time with the Alouettes ready to continue their role and their dominance over not just the Ottawa Redblacks but also the CFL's East Division.
Highest quarterback efficiency rating of all time this year. That's how well they've been playing.
See, if I would have known I just had to wear a toque in August in order to have that kind of efficiency, I would have done it. Scrum looks left, comes back right. Alexander Hollins on the screen, and the offensive line still out rolling. Just finding white uniforms to lead to the turf.
Yeah, maybe the most underrated group on this team. I mean, there's so many big stars that we talk about and huge numbers, but those 5 guys, is there a better group of 5 in the league than the offensive line in Montreal? I don't think so.
Anyone who's ever driven the 401 between Montreal and Toronto understands the Great Wall of 401 when it's 3 lanes wide and there's just 3 transport trucks. To me, that's kind of what the screen game is for the Alouettes with their offensive line. Is sometimes there's just 3 transport trucks that are all moving together as one unit.
I'm really trying to follow you. I just want you to know.
You've never been stuck at the 401?
I just want you to know this blank expression on my face is not me trying to not follow you. I really was trying to follow you. I've been on the 401 and I've been parked on the 401.
Yeah.
So.
World's longest parking lot. But thankfully we made our way to Montreal as up onto his feet is the injured Alouette. Pierre-Olivier Lestage continuing to talk things through with the Ottawa sideline as Braden Knoll in the ball game on that last snap out of Wilfrid Laurier, former Argonauts draft pick. And CJ Rivas, one of the vocal leaders on this defense, trying to hold things together as the Redblacks will drop to double-digit losses and a donut in the win call in 1:51. Lawrence, the handoff down to the 25-yard line.
Sorry, Marsh, I was just contemplating, at this point, it's evaluation time for Ryan Dinwiddie. It really is. I mean, they're not making the playoffs this year. Changes in the front office in Ottawa. We saw that at halftime with David Naylor's report. Here's the rest of our schedule for the weekend.
Ronald Hamilton setting the table for Labor Day.
Apparently Trey Ford taking the #1 reps for the Ticats. Great finish for him against Saskatchewan. And that Saskatchewan BC game.
I was going to say the Riders-Lions one is really interesting to me. I mean, they all are, but just the rhythm that you get the sense that BC could get real hot real soon. And Saskatchewan being a little bit desperate after a loss they certainly didn't feel like they deserved against Hamilton last week, but the Ticats were able to earn.
Yeah, we haven't seen the final rosters for that game on Sunday yet, but all indications are that Sam Emelis will be back, and that will help in the big play department for Saskatchewan offensively. A couple of Redblacks going down here late in this game, but yeah, I think there's a lot of experts across the country that'll pick BC in that game on Sunday. Which, I don't know. I mean, Trevor Harris, I saw all week in all of his interviews, very determined and trying to make it clear that, hey, even defending champions have a game where it's not all clicking the way they want it to.
I think as well, like, people got to realize just the length of the CFL season, how much of a grind it is. There's, even for the Montreal Alouettes, it has been darn near perfect throughout this season, which feels incredibly irregular. It's not normal to be this good, this consistently, but that's why these fans have been here and stayed here through all of these home games, is because they've fallen in love with this club. And you get that sense kind of building a little bit in Edmonton. You see it happening again in Saskatchewan.
All those kids have bobbleheads, by the way. But you're right, though. I mean, this has been a beatdown, and they're not leaving. They're enjoying every second of this.
I love it. I've had 2 moments being here calling games in Montreal this season that stick out. One is Davis Alexander coming out of the tunnel for their home opener and the crowd exploding, which drove home to me. It was kind of like that you see with the Bell Center and the Montreal Canadiens, you know, when legends will come out. It felt like that. And the other was Tyson Philpott, after a couple of victories in big games early in the season, getting introduced, you know, week 4, week 5, somewhere in there. And it was the same thing. It was just this explosive pop of energy inside this stadium. They have so much passion for this team and the Stars that continue to push them to these victories. As we roll inside a minute remaining, and the injured Redblacks are off to the sideline as the football is out. And Ottawa will get a recovery. Amari Lawrence working on the ball security here late.
Well, like you mentioned earlier with the score, what it is, and the fact that this Red Black team is at 0-10 now, to have a couple of guys that you look late in the game that are still working real hard, and this is what Ryan Dinwiddie with his team now has got to do. He's got to evaluate which guy is quit, which guy stopped playing when the score got out of hand, because those guys won't be around long.
Bethel Thompson trying to get everybody organized as well as right into the offensive backfield. Goes the Alouettes as we see the road ahead here for the Ottawa Redblacks. And could they find a victory in the near future?
Well, you look at those teams and you look at their records and you say, okay, well, they're all losing records. But then you look at those teams and you know what the makeup of those teams are. And because for those Western teams, that West division is so jammed up and tight that losing records aside, I mean, Calgary's better than their record. BC, you just mentioned, is on their way. You feel like their offense is going to start clicking in a big way, especially with Xander Horvath and the combination of him and James Butler in the backfield. I think that's another handful for any opposing team this week, Saskatchewan. So Dinwiddie's got to continue to evaluate and find out, you know, who wants to be there and who wants to compete, and see if they can't find through that schedule you just saw one win in there at least to help them sleep at night. Because I guarantee you, those guys are staring at the ceiling all night long, wondering what they can do to get better.
Maybe an Ento with Bethel Thompson already debriefing as respect between the two starters who did not finish. Davis Alexander, the victor, and got to rest as Jake Mayer gets pulled in favor of MBT. And it is 46-16. The Montreal Alouettes, dominant force in the CFL's East Division, and they continue to set the tone here in 2026, perhaps motivated by how the Grey Cup ended last year and hoping to get their star quarterback and receiver back into the big game. Plenty of football to be played before then, but for now, it's another tone setter here from the Owls. For Kenzie Lalonde and Glenn Suter, I'm Marshall Ferguson. Thanks so much for watching. Now it's time for SportsCenter with Mark Rowe and Jen Hedger.